Hello. Let's try that again. Orientation lock, rotate the ice bag. Okay, so I gotta rotate it this way. This is gonna be fun. Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft-related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And I am just gonna have a time today with this setup, but we're gonna just be okay. We're gonna be okay. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay. So I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. And I am so happy to talk about this book. I'm just going to jump right in. I don't think anybody's here yet, but I'm going to jump in because I want to talk about this book too, Aries Witch, and then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. This right here, this little book, oh my God, this is a perfect cozy fall book. It's definitely for this time of year, or even I would say coming up on the winter solstice. I'm just going to read what this book is about and jump right in here. So, as one of the few witches in Britain, Mika Moon, like me, M-I-K-A, Mika Moon knows she has to hide her magic, keep her head down, and stay away from other witches so their powers don't mingle and draw attention. And as an orphan who lost her parents at a young age and was raised by strangers, she's used to being alone and she follows the rules, with one exception. An online account where she posts videos pretending to be a witch. She thinks no one will take it seriously, but someone does. And this is where the story starts. Someone takes it seriously. An unexpected message arrives begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere House to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. It breaks all the rules, but Mika goes anyway. I would do that. It is immediately tangled up in the lives and secrets of not only her 3 charges, but also an absent archaeologist, a retired actor, 2 long-suffering caretakers, and Jamie. That's the love interest. So the handsome and prickly librarian of Nowhere House would do anything to protect the children. And as far as he's concerned, a stranger like Mika is a threat. An irritatingly appealing threat, so he's attracted to her. As Mika begins to find her place at Nowhere House, the thought of belonging somewhere feels like a real possibility. But magic isn't the only danger in the world. And when peril comes knocking at their door, Mika will need to decide whether or not to risk everything to protect a found family she didn't know she was looking for. There's going to be some spoilers because I can't contain myself. just a little bit. So I kind of really like this character. She's a sweet young woman. She is really good at potion making. I love that. She talks a little bit, the ingredients are like things that you wouldn't have access to in this world, because like some of the stuff that she's talking about using is like, you know, pieces of the moon, pieces of stars and things like that. So not necessarily, but I guess you can do stand-in things or something like that, but it's really, I try to look for stuff like that. Like, is there something I could use for magic? But she doesn't really cast spells. So this is the kind of book where you're going to get a lot of spell casting and all that sort of stuff. The characters aren't doing that. But what they do, or what she does, is she really kind of brings you, and she always has a cauldron going. She creates witch fire, which I love. And the book is just basically, they say it feels like a warm hug. It does. I genuinely enjoyed reading this book. I thought it was it was modern. They had modern influences without it being like trendy, because you don't always want trendy in a book. But it was modern in a way. I was able to get into this book and I was able to digest it and enjoy it. I fell in love with all the characters. And the spoiler that I'm going to give you is that the mom, I mean, the caretaker of these three young witches. Remember, witches aren't supposed to, in this world, witches are not supposed to like hang together. They meet. The witches that are wearing in the these British witches meet, but they only meet at a specific time on a specific day and nowhere and never at the same place twice, more than twice. Like it's a weird thing they have because they've been told that if their powers, if they're together, they're powerful. And basically, witches have been around for, human history, so they can't afford to be found out because something could happen to them, like in the past where, witches were burned at the stake. So they just can't afford, the public freaking out and destroying them again. So that's what this book is really, that's why they can't meet. That's why they can't get together. And the thing that I do appreciate about this book is the main character, Mika Moon. I don't know if you can see from the cover, she's brown. So she's brown because she's Indian. I was wondering about this. I just saw the author's name. I was like, but and here's the author. So I read the book. So she's clear. She's Indian. So another not so fun fact in this world, when a witch is born, she's orphaned, which is why witches are usually alone anyway. It would help if they probably could be with each other, right, and hang out. But unfortunately, they can't because there's the rules. It seems on the surface when you're reading this book, it's about one thing. You think it's just about like the characters, her, maybe a little love story. She's teaching the kids, and you already know about a pending threat, but actually it's more to it than that. It's a lot more to it than that. And I love that it does take a little turn, and not a little, it takes a kind of a big turn. And you don't see that turn coming. There's a big secret, and you think you know the secret, and then you won't. And then the book keeps going. You're like, holy. And then there's like, just when you thought everything was out and the worst was happening, there's another one that comes through at the last bit. So they did good at kind of like really to me. I felt like you, the reader, just when you thought you had it, no, you don't. One more. So really, the pacing definitely is pretty solid in this book. I didn't have a problem with the pacing, meaning you don't feel like it's dragging, you don't feel like it's going too fast, you're not getting whiplash of them going back and forth. It was almost perfect. It was almost perfect. So they actually had questions for discussion. I thought about like, how can I even answer any of these questions? What 3 words would you use to describe Mika as a character? What made her an engaging heroine? So I would say the 3 words is she's talented. She sounds really talented with her potion making and overall witchcraft. Warm. She's very warm. And she talks about the difference between being nice and kind. So you can be nice, okay, but being nice is not the same as being kind. Now that's something I know for sure because just being in a minority group, I'm very familiar with people being nice, but they're not kind. Nice is and they aim for nice. They're aiming for nice. They're not aiming for kind. So yeah, that's a thing. And just so you know, like nice is, I think the example was if someone asks, do I look okay in this? And nice is, okay, yeah, kind is, oh, you look nice. Oh, I love the way, the red shirt brings out your hair or something like that. Or, oh, or like nice is like, yeah, like you might say a little bit of criticism or something like that, but you're being nice. Yeah, so that's the thing. And let me see here. Did the plot twists in the book surprise you? As I mentioned, yes, they did. That's even one of the discussion questions. Those plot twists really got me because once the first plot twist was revealed, I was really taken aback because I did not see that. I had questions about the caretaker in the book without giving too much away. So it's like they live on this estate where Mika Moon goes to Nowhere House. Nowhere House is like it has wards all around it. These really powerful wards that are around the home. I wish they would have. We never will know what the wards were because they didn't explain it. But they had these powerful wards, and I was dying to know, like how they were going to replay. Because I can tell in the pacing of the book we were going to get to that. But little did I know what would happen after that. So there's a lot to this. It definitely, yeah, I was definitely surprised by the plot twist. If you had the opportunity to adapt the novel into a film or TV show, who would your ideal cast be? Mika Moon. See, there is so a brown girl for sure, probably unknown. You know, a young brown, youngish, you know, like late 20s, brown Indian brown girl. Um, I can't think of it. Like, I want to say like a young Mindy Kaling. Like, I want her that brown, and pre Skin Lightning. We don't. I'm not the current version. Um, Jamie would be played by her love interest. I'm trying to think who I could see. I could see him in my mind, but I can't see like a person. I don't know what those. I don't know actors' names like that to pick. Okay, so unknown. And then like one of the characters is 80 something years old. I'm trying to think of like an 80-plus-year-old man right now, an actor. I don't know. That's not a good question. I can't answer that. I would have to have thought about that way before I came on here. I did not. Uh, yeah, even the side characters have like a little bit of story, a little bit of more plot to them, and I really love that. I will say this. One of the things that this book, outside of the nice versus kind, some of my like takeaways, because sometimes, you know, you read some fiction and it makes you think about stuff, right? One of the things I thought about was how, because she makes content on social media, the Mika Moon, and she talks about how you can see, she as a witch can see the magic around people. Like, so if you were, you know, if you, people say, oh, it's like you have a glow. Um, People can't quite describe it, but like if you're a magical person, you would recognize another magical person. And that really just had me thinking. Now, obviously, it's a work of fiction, but I do believe that you can kind of sense when someone has a little, when they're in tune with their magic, when they're in tune with, dare I say it, purpose, their purpose. They have a certain confidence about them, the way they speak, the way they look, and honestly, to some people, a certain glow. Good example, because this person does not identify as a witch, and it came up recently. Tabitha. Tabitha, y'all know her. She's, you know, with the big afro that she calls Donna. She's big on Instagram. She had her own Food Network show. Yeah, her. So she, this lash about to take me out. But she, recently did an interview with Amanda Seales, and Amanda Seales was like, "You're a witch. You know that, right? Like, you're a witch." She was like, "Well, I wouldn't say that." But to me, Tabitha is, I mean, listen, it's language. If you don't like those words, that's fine. But to me, she kind of gives off as a witch. She has the gifts of intuitiveness. I think she has the gift of sight because people talk about how they met her and she's imparted, you know, knowledge that she shouldn't have known, and to kind of let them know something about the future. Um, so I'm just saying, I think Tabitha is that person. I think she kind of gives off that energy, and I think that's was part of her appeal as well. That's why I think a lot of people enjoyed her and liked her so much, is because I think she's like just a natural empath and healer and intuitive person. But that's just me. I know everybody's not comfortable with that, the term witch. I really wish we could get past it, but you know, I'm not in charge as much as I would like to be. The other thing about this book that stood out to me is Mika Moon. I'm gonna say her name the whole time. Mika Moon is in toward she has this. She's asked at some point about what she kind of could do if she could be her full self as a witch, if she could truly be herself. And she talked about opening up a little store, a little potion and tea shop, where she would provide, spell teas and all that sort of stuff to, in a small town or something like that, little village. And I thought that was first of all, I love something like that. That's really cool. And it made me think about myself. Now, I don't necessarily want to open up do potions. I can get into some potions now, but I don't know if that's my calling. If that's my purpose, maybe a little piece. But I remember wanting to take my own leap and started leaptaken.com. That was the thing for me, even starting this channel, but I'm going to keep it current. Doing that, and then lately I'm thinking, well, what if I did have a store? What if I was someone where someone walked in and I offered in-store readings, and I offered in-store services and sold products and helped people who came in. I would kind of like that. This book really, I've talked about that before, maybe wanting that, but this made me think oh, maybe I could be my full self. I don't like living this separate life like this with these characters the witches are doing, because they can't tell anybody who they really are, including their partners and best friends and all that. And no one wants to live not being their full self. And that's what this book kind of made me think about, how I don't like to live in parts. And it doesn't mean you have to, everywhere you go, you have to announce who you are and that you're a witch and all that sort of stuff. I'm not suggesting that at all, because that could be to your detriment. I think, however, read the room. But I do believe that to truly be my authentic self, there's certain spaces I'm in where you spend I'll call it what it is, working in certain environments where it feels like it's draining you. It feels like it's it's actually taking away from your very essence. You don't feel like yourself when you go to work and you spend 8 hours a day. Hi, Gemstones. I'm just saying that. Hi. We got to eat and we have to earn money to eat. So, but if you have an opportunity, I would be doing spells to change my circumstances so I could take that leap. That's what I would be doing. That's what I did as well. But yeah, this makes this book kind of I'm reading it right on time. I'll just say that because of my own stuff that I'm in a process of taking a big leap with, banking on myself, investing more in myself and into Leap Taken, and you'll soon see what that looks like. But yeah, I enjoyed hearing the story unfold, and it's the book is so cozy. And I'm telling you, it's warm, fuzzy, all that. However, there is a spicy scene between Mika Moon and Jamie, the love interest. And it gets a little spicy, but it never gets too, they use curse words, they're cursing and stuff like that. So it's not PG. The book is giving very PG-13. I don't even, it was, I'm trying to think, did I pick this up in the store? I think I picked this up in the romance section of Barnes and Noble. It wasn't in the young adult or anything, because it's technically not. They're in their, the guy Jamie, I think, is 30 or he's in his 30s, and I think she is about almost 30 or something like that, or maybe 30. I can't remember her exact age. But yeah, it's very interesting. There's bits and pieces of little things, even the names. I don't want to give too much away because it's kind of part of it. Picking up that book next week. Okay. You will enjoy. It's very cozy and warm. And I will say, during their spicy scene with Jamie and Mika Moon, sorry, come on, you read the book. There's always going to be, if there's a love interest, they don't write these books, they're not going to ever get together. So you already knew that. I'm not going to tell you how, because that's the fun part. But when they have their moment, and he's like, and I'm paraphrasing obviously because I didn't bookmark that, but he's like, at one point he told her he loves her skin. Like he was naming all the things he likes about her. He loves her skin. And I was like, oh, I like that. I love that. Like just, there's not a, it's, to me, everybody accepts her. Her biggest thing is I'm a witch. She doesn't think like anything else about anything or people holding anything against her. But then again, I'm not, I mean, I'm a brown skinned girl, but I'm not brown like Indian. So I don't know what they're, I don't walk in their shoes. It's not the same because I know that they're seen differently than me. So I don't know what it would be like to be living, I don't know, in some British village and I'm Indian and I don't know. But to me, I think she has bigger issues because she's been orphaned as a child and she never really had connections as a child growing up. And there's some stuff with that too, where they're kind of exploring this, what that's like and how that has a lasting impact when you don't have someone in your life. Do you think I would be good on, do you think it would be good on Audible? Possibly. I would love to know the voice that they use on Audible too. Um, yeah, definitely. Oh, it's probably British accents. That would probably, I don't know, that would probably take me there more. So I would say yes. Definitely get it. But this, you will love this book. Like, I can't, there's nothing negative. There's no like, oh, I wish it would have did this or I wish it would have done that. Um, it's really good. Like, it's perfect for the season. It's perfect for spooky season. Um, the witch situation, like how she operates as a witch, feels like just like a green witch. It feels very natural, but it's in this book they could like they have telekinesis powers as witches, so they don't just make potions. Like they can move things, they can levitate, that type stuff. And her teaching the girls, that is interesting. I will say one of the cutest parts is at some point they talk about she teaches them how to make their own book of shadows. So that's really cute. It's not a big section or anything, but just like that warmed my heart that they were taught, like, because she's teaching these, they're young, which is like they're little kids. And she was teaching them so that they would have their book of shadows. And it's also sweet that at some point, like the people in the house, a little bit of spoilers, they gave a gift to Mika Moon because they said, oh, it looks like some of your pages were getting used up and your, book of, well, I think they said grimoire. So they got her a new one. And I just thought that was so sweet. Like, that's the kind of stuff us witches get, right? So really, really warm, cozy, magic. I'm trying to think of all the things in there. There's magic, there's romance, little tiny bit of spice. It's not overkill. So if you kind of like, just, we're adults. If you like a little bit more, but you don't want it to be the main plot in the book, you'll enjoy that part of the book as well. And just the character development it's seen. You see it with the girls, the three young witches, like their character development, one in particular, the Jamie character. And he's not just, they don't do this thing. And I love they give you the backstory just a little bit on the characters without like throwing it to you, putting it all in your face and you feel like, why are you telling me all this background information? Like things unfold the way you would expect them to. So you learn more about these supporting characters, who all these characters are in the book. And the last big takeaway is perception. And as you read, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like Mika's perception of her upbringing, the people involved in her upbringing. It's really interesting because I think we all have these our memories and our perceptions of what we thought our childhoods were. And if you maybe had a conversation with somebody who was there, maybe it wasn't as, I don't want to say it's bad, but maybe the parts that you thought were really upsetting, maybe it wasn't all upsetting. What you experienced and what you remember, that's right, but there was some other stuff in between. But the not so great stuff kind of overshadowed that. And that idea of perception. But I think that's something I need to also remember as well, just going through life day to day, um, especially when I journal, like perception. Because, if you start the day off a certain way, it clouds your perception about the entire day and the rest of the day. If you were late, if you overslept, if you had a nightmare, a bad dream, if someone gave you not so great news first thing in the morning, if you dropped something, your coffee, just something annoying, something kind of small, but that can change how how you feel about you in that moment. And then your entire day is clouded with this event, this relatively insignificant event, um, and your perception from that Saturday is now, what is your perception really going to be like? Did you forget the part where someone who saw you drop your coffee was kind and brought over a towel, or for you to clean yourself up? Are you forgetting the part where you had to go change your clothes and you got to wear an outfit that you probably wouldn't have put on, and people complimenting you, and you told you how great you looked, and you didn't really you weren't even thinking about that sort of stuff, but you were just busy kind of focusing on being annoyed. I'm talking about myself now. You were so focused on this insignificant incident that like it clouded your perception. Now that's just like a day and a small little thing, but like there are people walking around their whole life. So the things that happened when they were younger has totally clouded their perception on just their worldview. I mean, we see this with a lot of different situations, but like even practicing witches, that's something I would say shadow work, but you would have to know that you need to do shadow work. If you're not willing to be open to the fact that maybe you have your perception's a little off and you're not really seeing all there is because your perception is clouded by some negative events. Yeah, so think of the witch who's always doing hexes or protective work and always, doing all this stuff and feel like she tells you she's being psychically attacked. Psychic attacks are her, happening all the time with her. And with people like that, and I was like, there's a story there. There's something going on. And because of that, your views, like you feel things, you're probably feeling, I'm not saying what they feel is not valid, but because of your perceptions, because of a clouded past, or because most likely something has happened to this person before, or several things have happened to this person before that are so great, they have this perception that whenever they sense something, they're hyper vigilant. They assume it's an attack, which is a great segue into the next book that I'm about to review. But anyway, this is a worthy read. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It picked up when you wanted it to pick up. It coasted a little bit in sections where I wanted to coast, because you kind of need that moment to get to know everybody and know what's going on and understand the area and all that stuff, like the gravity of situations. So yeah, definitely a good read. Let's get into this book, Aries Witch. So I actually think this is a good book. Let me just start there. Obviously it's for Aries, but they have one for every zodiac sign. So there's multiple authors for different sections in the book, but I will say this, they do tap into some energy around Aries. They do. It was spot on about a good amount of information. Obviously, we're not all one thing, or you might be a little bit more. And also, you're not just your sun sign, They even have conversation about your moon sign. And they even have a section on, like, if your moon sign is in a specific, whatever your moon sign is in, they talk about that, like, those attributes and stuff like that. So, mine is in Scorpio. So listen to this. Yeah, I'm in Aries with the moon in Cancer. My rising is Scorpio, Cancer. So yeah, I can be very sentimental. I can tell you that. But listen to this. I'll just give you a little excerpt here. So, moon in Cancer. So, this moon encourages your Aries energy to focus on your emotions and matters of the heart. That's me. You are more emotional and sensitive than most Aries, probably, I think so, and may have the gift of empathy or mediumship. Yep. This combination leans toward introversion and an active inner life. That's me. You may not appear as bold as some Aries, so you may be unrecognized for the powerhouse that you are. Think of this as useful camouflage, and remember that your sun and moon are in cardinal signs. You can use your drive and intuition to navigate complicated situations while staying true to yourself. You can use your drop. I'm going to repeat the same thing. Anyway, this process can be messy. I get that. And the sooner you become comfortable with laughing at your own foibles, the smoother your life will be. That is dead on. I was not always like this. I used to have, and I hid it, at least I hope I hid it. I used to have like really bad anxiety, like really bad. And yeah, so like coming up, the normal anxiety you have like as a teenager, you become very aware of yourself, your body, who you are, and your place in the world, and you almost want to like cover it up. That's why you have all these middle schoolers now walking around with hoodies in 100-degree weather. Yeah, like that. And I had a lot of that. And then if I was seen, if I was perceived, that would bring me a little bit of anxiety coming up. And then going into my 20s, that was a time for me to kind of get used to this idea that it's okay that I feel that way sometimes, but it's also kind of funny too. And I learned to laugh at myself. I learned to see humor in my fears and anxieties and stuff like that. Not because someone pointed out like this internally. And I mean, having children help because it's hard to, well, I wanted to be the type of mother who was encouraging and sort of push my children so that they can go out into the world and they didn't feel repressed or they didn't feel some of the stuff that I used to feel, right? But you kind of got to be about it if you talk about it with kids. So it's hard to, you want them to be brave. So you have to be brave. You telling them, oh, it's okay. We all make mistakes. It's okay to laugh at yourself. You have to learn how to do that. So that was part of it for me in my growing up. The Aries affinity for being a warrior is steered by the Cancer moon toward protecting others and taking on causes. That's me. Cancer moon makes you more strongly devoted to the ideals of friendship, family of choice, and family of blood. And I'm very loyal. Be sure that the people and causes you choose to champion explicitly want your help in the specific way you are giving assistance. That is so important. Life lessons that I had to learn. Everybody doesn't want, they might say they want help, but they might not want the type of help that you want to offer. You got to be okay with that. You are mortified if you inadvertently hurt people. I am. Oh my God. But your unbridled enthusiasm may worsen the harm unless reined in. Meaning, I can be very blunt. I get excited. And this has happened to me. I'm thinking I'm being witty, funny myself. And I have offended people. And I'm most genuinely shocked that they felt offended by me, but that's the thing. There are many ways to prove yourself and follow your sense of duty without losing yourself in the process. And it just goes on. A Cancer moon, like all the water moons, gives the aura of magnetic pull that wants to merge with whatever is nearby. Imagine 2 drops of water growing closer until they barely touch, and how they pull together to become one larger drop. The aura of a person with a Cancer moon is more likely to retain the patterns and energies it touches. This can be a good thing or a problem depending on what is absorbed. You must take extra care to cleanse and purify yourself before and after magical work whenever possible. Very true. I talked about this story before here where I went to So I was meeting some witches in person. Um, and I was invited to someone's home in Tennessee in the mountains. And I did not leave empty handed from that experience. I had a very real paranormal experience, and it was witnessed with others. I wasn't alone. And I walked away with this spirit. And that spirit was not happy and attached itself to me. And it was trying to kill me in my sleep. I would have nightmares every night, every night. I don't know if there. I have never in my life up until that point had. I mean, I would have nightmares, but I wasn't a recurring nightmare type of person. I didn't have this. It wasn't the same dream. Like it was different scenarios. The same entity was trying to constantly choke me out. I remember waking up having red marks on my neck and like on my arms. And at first, because me, practical minded first, which this next part's gonna sound crazy. I was like, wait, the only person next to me is this man that I'm married to. Is he trying to kill me? I was prepared to set up a camera. But no, he actually wasn't, because even if he wasn't there, like if he got up earlier or something like that and I was asleep or he didn't come, if I went to bed before him, this would still happen. So he wasn't even always there. So no, he wasn't trying to, well, that I'm aware of, trying to kill me in my sleep. And those marks, I'm like, at one point, well, it had gotten so out of control because I would wake up screaming because I was fighting for my life. I remember one incident where I was fighting. I was fighting to stay alive because in the dream, I felt like I was losing my breath and I felt like I couldn't get any more oxygen in because this entity was choking me. And yeah, this was a really bad one. And I'm screaming, I was screaming. I woke up the whole house, everybody. Like, I was still actively, like, flipping out in my sleep. And my whole family, like, they were there. And they were trying to get me out of my sleep. Like, 3 people at this point are trying to wake me up. No, 2. My daughter was in college at this point. But 2 people are trying to get me out of my sleep. And I was fighting. And they all told me, like, you were fighting. Like, I scratched them because they were trying to wake me up and they were getting hands. um, that dream, let me tell you something, that let me know. I mean, that I knew this, but it was just like proof. In a dangerous situation, I'm going to fight to live. It's not gonna, I'm not a good victim. I'm not a good victim at all. I'm taking you with me. I'm taking a piece of you with me. I'm not going out by myself. But some of the other stuff they have in here is like things that are uniquely Aries that I do like about this book is like there's a spell in here for like staying committed to a goal or some project or something you want to do. Aries is known for being gung-ho about starting some stuff, but we really do struggle with seeing it through sometimes. Cleansing and shielding, because this is something that we struggle with, especially me being in that watery, my moon being so watery like that. I My empath abilities are really strong. I had to learn a long time ago just how to kind of block that, and also trying to decipher like what's me and what am I picking up. Yeah, that was a fun exercise to learn how to do that. They even talk about the certain plants that kind of are associated with Aries, cayenne, or other hot peppers. Definitely, yes. Ginger, dragon's blood resin. I have that too. Coffee, and rue and other cleansing or antimicrobial herbs because they have a warrior nature. So there you go. So I will say this, the one thing they even talk about like times, places, ritual. It's a lot of good information in here for your sun sign. I would suggest getting this book. I'm actually really like a spell to finish what you start. I love this. Let me tell you what's in this. So it's, you'll need the 2 of Wands from your favorite tarot deck, 2 wooden dowels, approximately 12 inches long, a 12-inch red ribbon made of cotton, silk, or another natural material, dragon's blood incense, and a pen. It's a lot more to it, but yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that you're getting. They don't have anything here that I thought was like, over the top ingredients where you would like, you're never probably gonna do the spell because you can't find all the stuff. Um, Another thing is Epsom salt fire. This is as close as you can come to having a safe bonfire on your altar. You can use it to clear the space, which it does very well, but you can also use it to make an offering, burn petition papers, or perform divination. So you need a fireproof container and lid with a place to put it. So like one of those small cauldrons probably is good. I have that. Epsom salts, 91% rubbing alcohol, that isopropyl rubbing alcohol, um, essential oils optional, and a long lighter or fireplace matches. So you kind of get what they're doing. They're going to make a fire. So that's like your bonfire. So I think that's pretty cool because we like fire. Almost everything that I do with magic has some sort of fire component to it. Heat. Okay, so if I'm not actually lighting a match or lighting something on fire, I realize I'm drawn to solar magic. So it's something where you have to put something outside in the sun, or I need to be in the sun, and those are going to be the spells that work best for me too. So now I will tell you this: I have recently have been given information from my aunts. I'm doing some ancestral type work right now. I'm reading the Ancestral Grimoire book, and I'm doing some of the exercises. And one of the messages I got was that I'm gonna get an opportunity to work more with water, the element water, and that makes sense for me because I was obsessed. It felt like almost an obsession if you knew me, living near water. So in 2005, I moved from New Jersey to Florida, North Florida, Jacksonville. And then I moved years later to Georgia. And then I moved back. And then I moved to Georgia again. And then I moved back to Florida. And then I moved to North Carolina. And from North Carolina, I moved back to Florida. And then I moved to Tennessee. And then I moved back to Florida. And this last move here in Arizona, I don't want to live in Florida, but part of the appeal, I truly felt like I was called to live by a body of water. So now it's not that I feel like the water element is done with me. I believe I'm getting messages because I need to be near some water or create a situation where I have access to water because I got to feed that other part of me. I'm a Sun Aries, but that Cancer moon is there, and can't let that go. And that Scorpio in me is a whole other issue. But anyway, but I need to occasionally get access to a body of water. I just know that about myself, and that works its own magic for me. But in the meantime, if you're someone like me, kind of craving that, and you're in a landlocked state, like me, you can kind of create that. Honestly, I'd love to have a swimming pool because it could kind of be that body of water, but alas, I don't have that right now. But what I do have are a bath and a shower. And I would suggest kind of really revving up your concepts of like bath ritual or shower ritual in my case, because I don't do the bath. Shower ritual, like it really kind of make that a spiritual thing because you need it. There's even actually in here a recipe for doing basically a cleanse as well, using water and some herbs. Let me see, weekly cleansing ritual. So you need a half-gallon pitcher, a small saucepan, a handful of salt, 2 or 3 of the following herbs: rosemary, lemon balm, lavender, parsley, garden sage, lemon peel, hyssop, anise, hyssop. Basically, you heat the water, the herbs, and all that in the water, right? And you speak your intentions. Listen to, just so you know what it says. It says, "Water is a blessing to all on earth, and I am grateful. I charge this water to my purpose to cleanse me of all negative or inharmonious energies and carry them away to be transformed." Next, take the salt and put put it in your palm of your hand, cover it with your other hand, and say, salt. Okay, so you're blessing each component. So first there's water, then now there's salt. Salt of the earth. I give thanks for the gift of your presence and blessings. I call upon your cleansing powers to draw out and neutralize any negative or inharmonious energies that have attached themselves to me. Then you pour the salt in the water, heat it on a pan, in a saucepan, and it says, Spirit of, let's say you're using the rosemary, Spirit of rosemary, I give thanks for the gift of your presence and blessings. I call upon your healing powers to cleanse me of any negative or inharmonious energies that have attached themselves to me. You put that in a pot, and then it tells you take a shower and clean yourself as you normally would. Turn off the shower, slowly pour the water from the pitcher over your head. Let it run down your body. Envision all negativity being washed away. Alternatively, you can draw a bath, pour the water in the bath, blah, 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 right? Briefly rinse, dry, and get dressed. It's time to do some protection work. And then the next section is talk about shielding. So this is like a once a week thing. I would say if that's just not going to be possible, this is just not going to happen. May I suggest making a spray? May I suggest making a spray? So making the spray and spraying yourself with that spray, maybe you make it every week. Same deal, but you spritz from top. You're not going to be in a position where you can do it. And you're going to have to, with your intentions, focus more on evaporation versus it running down. Because if it spritz, it's going to evaporate. So, maybe you change the words up or something like that about it evaporating instead of running down or something like that. And that's how you see it, like anything that's inharmonious, anything that is not okay for you, you see the air element taking away. It's just taking it away. It's evaporating it. So, I don't know. That's just something. I love, this other section. I love this so much. So this is in the recharging and self-care when the fire has fizzled. One, which I understand after reading this, one of the problems with us fire signs, specifically Aries, is that we do have some energy. We get real fired up about stuff. Pun intended, we get very fired up, right? And we can come in so gung-ho. We are ready. Whatever the plan was, we are ready to do it. The big issue with that is that we will burn out. We burn out. That intense, it's hard to keep that level of intensity going. So here are some suggestions, which I thought was good. So they say, find some actual fire. This is actually beneficial to me. I will tell you this. This really helps. So a candle, I use something in my practice for that reason, a black candle, a candle, a bonfire, or even sunshine and bask in it. Sometimes I just gotta go stand outside in the sun. The other thing is get moving, exercise. This is something I had to learn being who I am. I need to do something. I can't sit all the time. I have got to walk. It's like, got to do anything too crazy, but I need to get moving, exercise, dancing. Like I play music and I'll just dance around the house. Like I do that while I'm cooking dinner and all that sort of stuff. It's like dance break. I have to do, and it alters, like, for quite some time, how I see the world, my perception, my attitude, how I'm feeling, how receptive I am to magic and other things. I have to move. Make sure your environment is helping and not hindering you. Home clearing. So I talked about how my house felt like the house spirits were like, hey, what's going on here? They're okay now. They're good. I think we good. We're good. So, but yes, things get out of whack. That's not good. Freshen up your altar. I just posted a video about that. Freshen up your altar. First, remove anything that isn't an active part of your current practice. Old stuff hanging around is a magnet for unhealthy energy, that sort of thing. Get together with friends and have fun. I get to do that anyway. I'm in a coven. That is beneficial to me. I am someone who, although I realize I am introverted, I'm also careful. I have a very small group. And it's small because I get to be myself, my full self. One thing about us Aries, we're not, we're who we are, good or bad. If you don't like us, you think maybe I got to know her, I like her. No, you knew who I was when you met me. I'm not I'm not hiding nothing. This is her. This is me. You ain't like me for a reason. You still not gonna like me. Because I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna switch up. This is me. Um, just saying. um, but yeah, having people who truly get me, that's a very big deal. And if I can't find that, and in years, a lot of time went by, and I felt like I didn't have that. So I just didn't have really a bunch of people I talked to. Um, just like the same group, or same person, one or two people that I would talk to. But yeah, that wasn't always fun, by the way. But yeah, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, just put yourself out there and get to know people. It's like, I don't, I can sense that I mean, I'm okay with going to social events and stuff like that, but like, that's so surface level and fake. Like, you're not my friend. You're somebody I met at an event. You're not a friend, though. I'm one of those people. Then they go into this thing about the opposite signs. Libra. I don't know any Libras that I know. And that I have a theory on why I struggle with this, because this has come up a lot. I think because I just probably ignore any Libra that comes up across my path. Like, they are just like, there's something about them I find invisible, because they are just supposedly the opposite of me. And I do think that's a thing. Like, I just can't, these people just don't show up on my radar. So, because I told this to I think I was talking to my friend, my sister, she was like, so-and-so was a Libra. I was like, really? Like, I don't think I've ever paid attention to them before. And I just think there's something in me that just ignores them, which is probably not helpful. And that might, that could be my best friend, or best whatever. But anyway, and they talk like Aries is all about individuality and being able to go it alone. Libra reminds us of the joys of relationship and that others can have our back if we let them. See, that's why I ignore them, because it's like, you over here trying to be everybody's friend and trying to be everything to everybody. Like, everybody, this person wants sushi, this person wants Mexican. You're like, oh, I don't care, go either way. Where me, I want pizza. That's me. Aries tends to confront problems with great courage and steely determination. Libra reminds us that some problems only need a bit of time and diplomacy to disappear. Bull in the china shop. I don't care. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's me. It's like, so I'm supposed to sit here and act like this didn't just happen? No, I don't want to let time go by. I want to deal with it now. Aries puts lots of energy into creating, making something in the world. Libra reminds us to appreciate what has been created, to relax and take in the beauty that surrounds us. No. I mean, yes, sometimes, but no, I want to create things. I don't want to be consuming all the time. I want to create things. Hence this YouTube channel. I don't always just want to watch videos. I want to make videos. So that tells you a lot right there, right? But the main lesson we can learn from Libra is finding balance. So I agree. Aries witches will enthusiastically pour energy into their spells and other projects, yes. And if we aren't paying attention to how much energy we are expending versus how much we are taking in, we exhaust ourselves. True. They talk about the not so great parts too. I don't love that. A spell for physical fitness and acceptance. Yeah, they know us. So one red candle, dragon's blood oil, or carnelian, and a mirror, which is optional. And it's like a lot more to it. I'm going to go through all that, but there you go. There's a section, don't blame it on your sun sign. Reining it in already. For an Aries, love is always young and loud. Why? But anyway, like I said, there's different authors. So some people, like a true Aries, is going to be very blunt and direct. I'm not offended at all. So this is, that's right up my alley. But Yeah, so this is, if you were on the fence about getting one of these books, that at least for me, this is mine. Um, I would tell you that I think it's something in here that might be very interesting to you, to explore as a witch using your zodiac sign, your sun sign. Aries anointing oil recipe. Oh yeah, let me tell you all about this one. The ingredients: a carrier oil, frankincense, basil, peppermint, dragon's blood, bergamot. I would use these things. I do use some of these things: peppermint, basil, and frankincense, and dragon's blood. These are things I use. I don't haven't done anything with bergamot just because I don't have it, but this is actually right on. This is right on. Like, I'm in line with that. Engaging the warrior, learning about self discipline and all that sort of stuff. Courage, blah blah blah. So yeah, and then it's like the typical, like the appendix gives you like your correspondences and all that stuff for Aries. Season, spring, summer, that's my time. Day, Tuesday. Tuesday is my favorite day. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Always been. I've been like this before I knew anything about this as a little kid, and we were talking about our favorite days of the week. It was always Tuesday for me. Tuesday is like perfect. Love it. Hello, Joey PK. It's perfect. um Number one. I don't know about that. I don't like odd numbers usually, except for three. So that's, I don't know. I got to look into that. Energy is yang as opposed to yin. You already know the element is fire. Let me see if there's anything in here that's interesting. Gemstones and minerals. There was a whole section about stones and how the jewelry companies made up this whole thing about your birthstones and all that stuff. But they said gemstones and minerals like agate, patchy tears, aquamarine, that's my jam, aventurine, bloodstone, cornelian, citrine. I definitely work with citrine. Diamond, emerald, garnet, hematite, herkimer, diamond, I don't know, jade, jasper, red, uh, opal, quartz, ruby, and it goes on. Metals are gold, iron, and steel. Can definitely, yeah. And from the sea, coral. Okay. Now the goddesses. Let's get into this. Anat, Badab, Badb. I'm not sure how to say that. Sybil, Durga, Hecate, Hestia, Shima Jam, Ishtar, Macha, Minerva, the Morrigan, Sekhmet, yep, and Tiamat. Okay, Tiamat. Tiamat, Tiamat. In my dragonology deep dive, that's someone who just kept coming up, so I felt that affinity. So this is right on point. And then the gods, Amun, Aries, Belinus, Idra, Kanum, Marduk, Mars, Nergal, and Ra. Definitely Ra. Went down a rabbit hole with that with my kids when we were homeschooling, doing ancient Egypt and mythology and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Animals: goat, sheep, ram, duh. Birds are hawk, red-tailed hawk, magpie, owl, robin, and woodpecker. So there you go. And then there's a list of issues, intentions, and powers: action, ambition, anger. Yeah, of course. I got a video coming up about anger, by the way. Assertiveness, beginnings, and fear. That's something I've worked to overcome. Here's the thing about all this stuff. I don't have to go too much further into it. I will say this: if you are someone who, there are certain attributes of your sign, your astrology chart, where it lends to certain behaviors that are not what you would like. um, you can employ things to alter that. You don't have to stay that way. Um, you can change. You can, it's work, but eventually with anything, if you keep doing it, if you keep working on it, it doesn't feel so much like work anymore. It's more of a thing after a while. It just becomes second nature. So um I struggle with anger. I struggle with, and it's not anger like I'm upset with people. It's like, it's this internal thing. where I just get so frustrated sometimes. I'm just so angry, and I'm like, don't they see what, this crazy politician is doing? And this one over here is, trying to rewrite history, and that's not okay. And I get really passionate and really upset about this stuff. And I'm like, they're hurting people. They're doing this. Like, I mean, it's not like about rant. Like, these are like legit issues. Like, activism for me has to come from a place of almost anger for me to be good at it, for me to really get involved, to be honest. So I have learned that instead of trying to quell or push the anger down, gaslight myself and act like it doesn't exist, instead, we use it. I learned to use it and use that as fuel for some work. So the thing that's making me angry, I don't want that to happen. I'm okay. So either what do I really want to happen, or how do I want to resolve this thing that has angered me? And that's where I take all that. I let it rise to the surface. I don't try to push it down. I don't try to hide it. Then I go deep. But that takes practice. That takes practice of getting used to calling forth that level of energy. And Aries anger can go, it could be wild. And with that Scorpio influence, I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful. Because if it's I gotta be careful sometimes. But I pull it all up, and I unleash that into whatever the work is that I'm doing. And that has been some of the most powerful things that I've ever done. The spells that I've cast, the work that I've done, those are the ones that are immediate, and everybody felt it. Whoever was supposed to feel it, felt it. Whatever was supposed to happen, happened. So anger can be useful. I'll just say that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and go and get on with the rest of my Saturday. These are the two books I would suggest adding. This series here, whatever your sign is, you would put that, which got this at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at Amazon as well. And then this is such a fun book. It's so cozy and sweet, and I love this book. I don't know, this is one of my favorite books I've read in a really long time. Like, I love the writing, I love the pacing, I love the dialogue. I felt like I was immersed, but it never felt too dramatic. It wasn't too much going on. But there were some darker things being talked about, if that makes sense. But you never felt like you were being taken down. It was just like, oh, like a friend is telling you this thing and you feel empathy for them, but you're not being overpowered by it. You're not being overwhelmed by their story. Yeah, I would just say that. So thank y'all for watching. Thanks for talking to me as well. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. It helps me as well. Consider hitting the join button to join Leap Ticket membership, and head on over to my website. Don't forget, I'm now offering the Cottage Witch Grimoire and the Cottage Witch Planner, which is undated, and you can use that however you want. It's not something I'm sending to you. It's something you're going to download. So check that out. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.